our C and our G7. A little emphasis on the Noog, right? Chattanooga, Chattanooga. He's got the whole world in his hands. Then it goes to the second string, open 3, and then it goes open 3, 5. 3, 3, 3, ot, 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 3, 1, ot, 2, ot. So thumb, index, 3, 2, 4, 1, or in, 2, out, 2. It's all the same thing. And then we're back to F. So you just want to go back and forth between these two. So we're going to go from string 1 to string 4 to string 2 to string 3. All right, my name is Ryan Taylor, and this is Power-Up Ukulele Skills Level 1. We're going to go through the 8 squares. For the free square, if you want to consider tuning your ukulele to your G, C, E, A, that would be fantastic, okay? And we're going to start with the C and G7 chord transition. Okay, so we have our C, which is third finger, third fret on the first string, okay? And then we have our G7 chord, which is moving that third finger to the second fret. And then we put our first finger on the first fret of the second string and our second finger on the second fret of the third string. And that's our G7 chord. And we just want to get this feeling really comfortable, just going back and forth between C and G7 until we feel like we can do it without even thinking about it. And so we have our C and our G7 and our C and our G7. We just want to get used to that. And once we feel like that's really comfortable, then we're good to pass it off. One other thing is we want to make sure that we're getting nice clean sounding chords. So if you're not up to doing it clean sounding that fast, what you want to do is really slow down and just make sure that your fingers are right next to the wires. You don't want them to be on top of the wires because then you get muted strings like that. But if they're right next to the wires, you're not going to get any extra fret buzzes. But if I'm away from the wires, then I'm going to get that kind of a sound, right? So I want to be right up next to the wires, but not on top of them. And another thing with the G7 chord, if you turn your wrists so that your fingers are facing down the fretboard a little bit instead of straight across the fretboard, it's a lot easier to reach that position. So as opposed to this, and that's just so much harder. I mean, I can do it, but if you turn your wrist just a little bit, it makes it so much easier to get that G7 chord. So C and G7, C and G7. And eventually you'll just be going back and forth between those two. But you don't need to do that to get them passed off, right? Okay? So C, 2, 3, 4, G7, 2, 3, 4, and C. All right, now we're going to pair that with our into, out to finger picking. Okay, so into, out to. What this really means is we're going to do the inner 2 strings in our finger picking and the outer 2 strings. We're going to start with our thumb, which is indicated on the little worksheet by P for pulgar. We use Spanish indications for our right hand due to flamenco, things being handed down from flamenco techniques. And so we have the inner 2 strings. We're going to go thumb, index for the outer 2 strings as well. So we're doing thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb, index. But we can call that 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1. Or we can say into, out to, into, out to. So all those things work. So thumb, index, 3, 2, 4, 1, or into, out to. It's all the same thing, right? And I'm going to get up a little bit closer and I'm going to add the CG7 transition to that. And I'm going to end with a thumb strum to finish this off, okay? And so let me get a little bit closer so you can see. Okay, and so that is the in two, out two finger picking. And then the next thing is the 5 strums. Okay, so these are very simple strums, right? And so we have the regular thumb strum. You're just drawing your thumb across the strings where the neck meets the body of the instrument. Right? And then we can do down strums. Now, doing a down strum, you just want to flick your finger. I use my middle finger because I injured my first finger quite a long time ago, and I don't want it to start hurting again. So I switched to strumming with my middle finger instead. But you can strum with your first finger if you'd like, right? And you're just strumming, right? And you can see that this isn't happening. This isn't happening in my elbow muscle. This is happening just here in my rotation muscle, right? So I've got this wrist rotation happening, and I'm flicking out across the strings with nothing but nail. So I shouldn't be getting the side of my finger at all. And you'll notice that the angle at which I am strumming across is not like trying to go straight across the strings like this. Some of my younger students, they want to make sure that their finger is going straight across the strings. But no, you're just flicking out in a natural manner, right? Okay. And then, so that is regular down strums. I'm going to switch to my middle finger because it's just more comfortable for me now. Okay, so we just go down, 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 down. And then we have our down up strums. So all we're adding to this is going back up across the strings with the pad of our finger. So we're going to go down with the nail, flicking out, and then roll our finger back up and point it at ourselves. So let's do that in time. So here we go. Ready, and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, and then the next thing to do is just to add in some spaces. So we're going to go down, and we're going to go over the strings, and then we're going to do down, up, down, down, up, down. And every time we do a down, the second down will go over the strings. So down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Now let's add the chord into that. So here we go. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Now if we want to take this a little bit further, you can kind of turn this into like a country-like strum, and you can just kind of touch the strings on your first down. So it can become touch, down, up, 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 down. Okay, and that makes it just a little bit more interesting sounding. Another way that we can make this kind of thing more interesting is to take a regular down-up strum and turn it into a Chattanooga strum. And all this means is that on beats 1 and 4, we're going to give it a little bit more, 2 and 4, we're going to give it a little bit more oomph, right? And we're not trying to hit the strings harder. What we're trying to do is just flick out across the strings a little bit faster, and it will naturally be louder. But you don't ever want to feel like you're hitting your ukulele or striking it or trying to grind into it, because it just doesn't make it sound better. It makes it sound worse. Okay? And so with this, it's the Chattanooga. And so we're just going to start off with down ups. So we have a down, up, down, up, down. But then you start saying the word Chattanooga and giving a little emphasis on the noog, right? Chattanooga, Chattanooga, Chattanooga. And I'm not hitting those strings harder. I'm just flicking out faster. Chattanooga, Chattanooga. Right? Okay. And so let's add the chord progression, the C and the G7 to that. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and Chattanooga, 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 Chattanooga. once you've got those 5 basic strums down, you're ready to pass that square off, okay? And after that, we've got our out two, into, okay? And so this is the opposite of the into, out two finger picking pattern. We're going to start with the outer strings. And we're going to start with our index instead of our thumb. And so it's going to be exactly the opposite pattern. So we're going to go from string 1 to string 4 to string 2 to string 3. So it's going to become 1, 4, 2, 3. Index, thumb, out, 2, into, right? 1, 4, 2, 3. 1, 4, 2, 3. 1, 4. Okay, now let's speed that up just a hair, and let's add the chord progression, our C and G7. So here we go. Ready and go. 1, 4, 2, 3. 1, 4, 2, 3. 1, 4, 2, 3. 4, 2, 3. Always end with a thumb strum. I'm going to do that again because I got a little bit of buzzing on the first string, and that wasn't like very good, so I wouldn't like to pass myself off on that at all. So here we go. Let's try it again. Ready and go. That was much more pretty. Without the buzzes on the first string. I don't know what I did. I must have my finger over just a little bit too far and maybe was touching the second string or something. So you always want to listen for that and make sure that everything sounds out clear and nice and beautiful, and that all your strings are getting good sustain and not being muted by another string. Right? Okay. Yeah, that's not what we're going for. Okay. So after we pass off our out to into, we've got our F and C7 chord progression. So it's a different chord progression. And for F, we have first finger, first fret on the second string, and second finger, second fret on the fourth string. And there's our F chord. And then for C7, one of the easiest to remember, first finger, first fret, first string. And then we're back to F. So you just want to go back and forth between these two, just slowly making sure that they sound nice and clean. You don't want anything like that. I've got my fingers way too far away. Plus, I'm also not holding them down hard enough. Okay, so you got to make sure that they're really close to the wires. And you're holding them down hard enough for them to come in contact with the wires nice and firmly, but not so firm that you're stretching your strings out of tune, right? So F and C7, F and C7, F and C7, F and C7. And once you're feeling good about that, you can pass that off, right? Okay, and you can try it with one of those strums. Let's do it with the country strum. Okay, so here we go. Down, down, up, touch, 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 touch, down, up, touch, down, up. And there we go. All right, and once you feel comfortable doing that with one of your strums, and it really doesn't have to be any particular strum. I just chose that one because it felt like it at the time. And then we can go on to our next square, which is the C pentatonic. Okay, and so I'm going to actually look at my fingers on this one. And this is a chance for you to get a first glimpse at reading tablature. So tablature reads as if you were turning your ukulele over and looking at yourself, looking at the fretboard with it flipped over like this. And string number 1 would be the one on the top because you flipped it over. So string number 1 is usually the one the closest to the ground, but when we write it down as tablature, for some reason, it's flipped over and we read it across like this, 4 lines, right? And so there's going to be numbers on those lines, and that's just telling you what fret number. And of course, a a 0 equals the open string, right? So if you get a 0, that means you're plucking the open string. And so this one is notated 3rd string, open 2, and then it goes to the 2nd string, open 3, and then it goes open 3, 5. Now you notice that I'm trying to use the fingers that are closest to those fret numbers. So if this is fret 1, 2, 3, and 4, my pinky is going to cover 5. Okay, it's going to reach out and do that. But I'm not doing this. I'm not going open, 2, open, 3, open, 3, 5, sliding my first finger around. A lot of people at the beginning want to do that, but honestly, in the long run, that's going to be a disservice to yourself. You can get a lot quicker on playing melodies and scales if you're playing like a violin player does, where you put your hand in a position and then the fingers that are closest to that position cover the notes, right? Okay, so one more time, that is open, 2, open, 3, open, 3, 5, 3, open, 3, open, 2, open, right? And that is our C pentatonic scale, okay? And pentatonic just means five, right? Penta for and tonic is note, right? So 5 notes, right? 5-note scales, fancy term for a very simple thing, right? So pentatonic scale. And this is where we get our first glimpse at what we can use to make up our own melodies and to improvisation. Scales are not intended to torture you. Scales are intended to free you to be able to improvise and make up melodies and learn how to play melodies that you already know on the ukulele or other instruments. So scales are not our enemies, they are our friends. And this is probably the simplest scale that you can learn. One more time, we're going to go open, 2, open, 3, open, 3, 5, 3, open, 3, open, 2, open. And once you get to feeling like you can do it at about a nice medium tempo, right? As soon as you feel like you can do it like that, nice and clean with no buzzes, then you've passed it off, right? Okay. And then we there's an accompanying tablature that goes with this for Row, Row, Row Your Boat, and it also gives you all the fret numbers that you need for this song and which strings they're on, right? And so I'm going to say the fret numbers as I play it. But here we go. Ought is going to be our 0, right? Okay, so I'm not going to say open or 0 because both of those have 2 syllables, and ought is 1. So it's a lot easier to call out. So we're going ought, 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 2, ought, ought, 2, ought, 1, 3. 3, 3, 3, ought, 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 3, 1, ought, 2, ought. And so that's row, row, row your boat. And you notice that I'm just calling out the numbers for the frets, not for the strings. So it starts out on string number 3, but then we move to string number 2. And then we go back to string number 3. And then we do an outline of a major, C major chord. And those are the same numbers as the out 2 into string numbers, right? So you're starting on string number 1, and then 4, and then 2, and then 3. But we're just holding a C chord at the same time, right? And then we do a little scale downwards where we go on the 2nd string, 3, 1, ought, and then we end on the 3rd string, 2, ought. Let's do that one more time. Here we go. Ready, and ought, 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 2, ought, ought, 2, ought, 1, 3. 3, 3, 3, ought, 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 3, 1, ought, 2, ought. Okay? All right, so that's row, row, row your boat. And once you feel like you can play that at a nice medium tempo, then you're good to go. All right, and then the last thing that is on the bingo sheet for level 1 is to record or perform a song that uses 2 of the chords that you've already learned. And so one of the easiest songs to memorize out there in the world that uses C and G7 is He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. What's nice about this song is it's basically got one phrase, right? He's got the whole world, he's got the whole world, he's got the whole world, he's got the whole world in his hands, right? Okay, and there's additional verses. But what's really cool about this one is that every time you sing the word whole, you're going to change chords, right? So this is a really easy one to teach people around a campfire or something. It's a good one to memorize. So what we got is our C, right? And I'm going to do this with the Chattanooga strum, and that's going to be our first whole. And we're going to start on the note G, which is our 4th string, right? He's, right? So here we go. 1, 2. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 And like I said, there's a lot of different verses that you can add to that. He's got the wind and the rain. He's got the sun and the moon. He's got the itty bitty baby. He's got you and me, brother. He's got you and me, sister. And then you can go back to the first verse. He's got the whole world in his hands, right? So, and you can just call out the words in between verses really quick, right? So let's go ahead and do, we'll do, he's got the whole world. We'll do, he's got the sun and the moon. Actually, let's do wind and rain first, and then sun on the moon, and then we'll go back to he's got the whole world in his hands. So here we go. 1, 2. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the sun and the moon in his hands. He's got the sun and the moon in his hands. He's got the sun and the moon in his hands. He's got the whole world 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 in his hands. You notice that I'm ending on a up. A lot of times we feel like we have to end on a down. So I'm going hands, right? Up, down, up, right? And that just makes it feel a little bit more jazzy to end on an up stroke, right? So that's everything. That's all the ukulele level 1 skills for the Power-Up Ukulele thing. And I actually have stickers for these, okay? And so if you would like your Goats Can Eat Anything sticker, you can send me a $5 for the sticker and a self-addressed stamped envelope to 856 North, 350 West, American Fork, Utah, 84003, and I will send it back to you. I will send you a sticker. And then you can put it on your ukulele, or you can put it on the back of your ukulele, or you can put it on your sticker wall. I have a sticker wall where I collect stickers, or your sticker book, if you have a sticker book. Anyway, so, and that's just a kind of a memento to mark that you've passed off that level 1. I actually have stickers designed for levels 1 through 7. I'm going to be creating more videos like this that go through those different levels and adding skills to your arsenal. It's really good to kind of break things down on ukulele or any instrument and just say, okay, I'm going to focus on this one little skill, and I'm going to get it into my hands and into my brain and into the deeper recesses down there in my brain where we have motor muscle control that is auto-regulated, okay? And muscle memory is a really important tool to develop for the ukulele, because you don't want to be thinking about, I'm in the middle of this song and I'm gonna be trying to do 1 4 2 3 and I have to do a C G7 chord at the same time, and I have to be singing the words expressively at the same time. We can't think of all those things consciously at the same time, and so we have to program these skills into our bodies so that they will take care of them while our conscious mind is working on expressing and singing out to the audience and all those kinds of things. So that is it for Power-Up Ukulele Level 1 skills. And there is a free bingo sheet that you can download. There's also an online version that you can just click the little buttons on and complete that ukulele bingo. So until next time with Level 2, we will say farewell and keep on playing.